We are back in New York. We were back yesterday. Hold on a second. Looks like just need to clean that lens a little. There we go. So the video for the what happened should be coming out fairly soon. But as far as it goes, yeah, I did manage to find a new set of front calipers because I'm not trusting them ever again. So yeah, Cardone remanufactured. I did find Mercedes-Benz brand new. So I'm unfortunately going to have to pay the Mercedes-Benz price, and they won't be here until, it says Wednesday or Thursday. So I know I had a bunch of people looking for. So for you guys that don't already know, obviously this is not Power Tour, and obviously we did not make it. And as I will cover in the video coming out probably tomorrow, because instead of working on the video today, because I was so dang frustrated with, I don't know, I made my wife, what is it, a garden bed, and started working on a different garden because I just so upset. Yeah, brand new parts nipped me in the butt. Well, remanufactured parts nipped me in the butt, and it's just so disheartening that I put so much time to get this thing ready for Power Tour. And it's not even like, I would understand, like I said this in the video, I would understand if the reason why I don't make it to Power Tour is because I have a 250,000 or 240,000 mile engine in here, and I'm putting 14 pounds of boost. Totally my fault. No, me being preemptive and putting a new set of, well, remanufactured set of calipers on the car is what did it in. And you'll see in the video tomorrow just how marred up the actual spot where the pin goes in. It's, I don't know, guys. Manufacturers are going to kill the industry. They're going to kill their own industry. They're just stupid. Not all of them, and I'll actually go over some things that we had to do on this car in this video, including we have custom crossover tubes front and rear, and that's so that we can run complete AN fittings across the board, because I don't want to have leaking. But how are you guys doing? Right off the bat, super frustrated with manufacturing. I laid it in on you guys, so sorry about that. What's up, Wrenching with Grandpa? Fixing himself a sandwich and about to have an adult beverage. There you go. Yeah, I've been so busy with what I've been working on outside with, my new job as for my business. So Kilowatt Studios, and we do directing, producing for Foss Productions in California, which is East Coast stuff. Just well, it's more just directing for him, and then directing, producing for Hemming. So it's consumed a lot of my time. I actually did talk, so I'll probably end up doing some filming this week for them because, hey, if I'm still here, might as well make some, business done. So, Wrenching with Grandpa said, yeah, luckily no one got hurt. So last year, and I'll have to find a picture of it. I know it's on my phone somewhere. I just have like 6,000 photos on that. But last year we had the same thing happen, but on the passenger side. And what ended up happening with that was I didn't hear it because I was on the highway, and one of the brake pads, both of the brake pads backed out enough that one of them actually almost cut the wheel completely in half. It scored out about an eighth of an inch, a little over an eighth of an inch, which, with how thick these forged aluminum wheels are, it's getting pretty dangerous. So, it destroyed a set of, or it destroyed a brand new wheel. So yeah, it could have been catastrophic. And fortunately, from when I left here, I had the front-facing camera on the entire time. And so I had just finished singing to, what is it, Creedence Clearwater's Revival, Father and Son, like last course of it, 30 seconds, you hear ting, ting, ting. And so I turned around and I drove back, and yeah, I found, where is it? This guy right here on the ground, and that is all that holds your brake pads in. So, yes. So yeah, when well, again, I got so frustrated that I was like, oh, fine. I end up just, of course, with my luck this week, the Lord did provide bricks to make it look better. But so as soon as I started digging here, where did I swim? There we go. I end up making a little garden bed in the front of the house, and I have to finish it up tomorrow. I have to get rid of the grass. It's not focusing worth a darn. But yeah, so those are irises, which used to be up against the window, which I don't know why. And then there's going to be a couple other flowers. I don't know. I'm not a flower person, so I don't. Marigolds, I think. Lavender, maybe. Sunflowers. I don't know. I'll put them in the ground. Samantha and Stephanie will like them. And the smell will waft in. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you guys noticed this here. The plan is that this will be next year's Power Tour car. So, and that is not an Impala, if anyone's wondering. That is a Caprice PPV. Marigolds, sunflowers, and lavender. I was right. I think. I don't know. But yeah. So there's a few things that need to be sorted out with the Supra, namely 2 front calipers, and that's it. And then to save this week, I think we're gonna try to get the Trash Panda to make faster times than it did the last time, which would probably mean just stripping some stuff out, plastic out of the trunk, you know, crap that you don't need in there. So the plastic floor covering the top. So I don't know. I want to see if we can't shave it down to the same speed as the Caprice, which is running basically a flat 14. So what do we got going on here? Mexican Spec, how are you doing tonight? Hemp to make swing rope. Yeah, no, I don't grow hemp. I am going to be growing tomatoes, potatoes, pumpkins, corn, stuff like that. Realistically, I should have started planting them like 2 weeks ago, but yeah, whatever. It's been so cold. I don't think it would have been. We'll see. Mexican Spec says, Brian, I want to tell you the sticker you sent me still has bright colors after a year in our sun. They have very good quality. Yeah, so all of my merchandise comes from this, like even this hat, the shirts, everything comes from Blacktop Yacht Club. And I have found that I've tried 3 different other people, specifically like, what was it, Teespring, and the quality of the shirts aren't necessarily the best. I wouldn't even say they're close to being the best. And then Teespring, like they would go through the wash like a couple times and gone. And then when you get to Blacktop Yacht Club, I I'm still wearing shirts like religiously that I got when I went to pick up the Buick down in Texas. So if you're interested in picking up and supporting the channel, we have brand new hats. We have a bunch of different types of stickers, shirts. We have satellite shirts, Buick shirts, Super shirts, and there's more to come, but it helps the channel out. So yeah, very good quality. So big shout out to Jonathan over at Blacktop Yacht Club. And thank you, Mexican Spec, for representing the Lunar Outlaws Garage. Fluffy, how are you doing tonight? Oh, you're doing an open deer salad bar. So the cool thing is, where's my water? There it is. The cool thing is the 3 sisters, right? So one of the big things that I'm going to be doing on the outside of where I'm planting stuff is something like the Native Americans, which pretty much in the Northeast, we had 3 of the different plants that you would end up running. Corn, and then you actually plant pumpkins with it because it's prickly and the deer don't like to deal with it. And then you plant the beans, generally something like it's native beans, also known as navy beans, whatever they're called. And they climb up the corn stalk. And then you plant everything inside that you don't want the deer to eat, because otherwise they are like weed whackers and they'll freaking destroy everything. Also, just saying, I'm not growing it for them. I'm growing the stuff for me and my family. But come hunting season, if they're trying to eat anything of it, they're going to get shot with an arrow. So, and I get food no matter what. So there's that. So he had to pop in and remind you there's no bad Buick. William, you are 100% correct. Yeah, the what do you call it? The 455. Sorry, way too much. This has been a really tough weekend, guys. It's like my heart completely sunk when I went back and I noticed what was on the ground. It was like, yeah. So I'm kind of like super bummed on that. Hanging out here about you. Hopefully we didn't miss anything. No, we just started out. Cannellini beans. Mopar Fury says, screw the car stuff, start a garden channel. I don't know, man. It wouldn't last very long. Every time I've tried growing anything, that's why I'm planting the pumpkins. So I'm hoping it keeps the deer away, because I've tried growing hot peppers and the deer do just like weed whack it away. I don't know. But yeah, we have stuff that we're going to be working on this week to kind of salvage this week. I would like to get the like I said, I want to get the Dodge down to the track. I want to see if that thing can make better runs, as well as I'm going to call R&R Performance tomorrow. See if we can't sneak the Supra into dyno session so we can finally get it tuned. I actually bought, and we'll go to the computer car over there, but I bought a computer specifically for this. It was like a $250 computer from Best Buy. And that way my wife wouldn't have her laptop broken in or stolen. Probably broken. And I keep trying touching the screen on that, because hers is touchscreen, and mine's not. But it's enough to do tuning stuff. Hey, what's up, JB's little shop? The Garden Outlaw. Yeah, there you go. My logo would be a gnome. So I was actually one of the people I was going to be meeting on the power tour was Mopar Fury down, and that was actually going to be my mind the highlight, because one, really good buddy, and also we were going to be going to the Richard Petty Museum. So I'm pretty bummed, but we'll have to schedule something out. Maybe, I don't know, when things settle down and I kind of recover from spending all the money on this and everything else that's going on. Cheap. Maybe we'll do a will it start, and we'll go down and meet up with our buddy and drive it back up. Do you want to better chop the roof off the Cadillac interior? Grow a garden in the Cadillac. 2 birds, 1 stone. There you go. You know, she is getting old. Actually, this is going to be the new troop transport right here. So that right there is going to be replacing the Cadillac, because the Cadillac is getting a little bit on the older side. Probably use that for 1 or 2 years just in the winter, so that the rust can eat that and not the Caprice. Wrenching with Grandpa says, pick up a 50-pound bag of horse 18% sweet feed and put out. No, see, New York State, you cannot bait anything. I mean, you might be able to bait a couple things. We can't bait deer, bears, stuff like that. And I know people that, weirdly enough, grow their corn farms out in wooded areas and then forget about them. But yeah, you're not supposed to do that either. Let's see, 6%. How are you doing? Is it any of you guys? I'm assuming none of you guys are on Power Tour, because oh wait, today's Sunday. Yeah, some of you guys may be on Power Tour. If so, I'm incredibly jealous of you. Yeah, don't be a jerk. Don't rub it in. If you did go to Power Tour, what are you driving? I've also learned my lesson. Don't buy remanufactured calipers from Cardone. I don't actually know what calipers are on. Oh, I had gone so far to as make sure the rear emergency brake or parking brake actually worked on the Supra. So this is the first. The red Supras may or may not work. I don't know, but this is the first Supra that I'm aware of that has a working parking brake. I normally just rely on the putting it in gear. So 6% says, I wish I could do Power Tour, but no name nationals and RPI have. Oh yeah, I forgot about RPI. Have the travel, but yeah. That's 2 long trips that's expensive. But yeah, so you have no name nationals and then you have RPI. That's in Tennessee as well. I know it's like the East Coast variation of SEMA. So yeah, that's, I haven't actually showed off this. It was supposed to be showed off during Power Tour. Let's turn you guys around and you can kind of get an idea. So when I say it is completely AN fitting, and it's not like the AN fittings that look like AN fittings. My buddy Junior actually welded this into the Mishimoto radiator, which I accidentally froze this nearly solid over the winter. Had it pressure tested, it held. So then I had him weld these AN adapters on here, the bungs, and that goes back, which by the way, these are especially the AN20. Oh my God, these are a nightmare. And then this right here is the critical part. So now you can see we have to do a couple things, right, to get the 65mm pulley to work. I've already attempted to get it to work on here, but it creates so much drag on the belt, it actually just starts slipping like crazy on the crankshaft. So what do we have here? Well, we have our water crossover tube made by 1UZ Tac. We went through 2 variations to make this work. It gets it away from the supercharger so we can get a really small belt on there. And then I have to get a pulley down here. And I've actually been looking at it, and I'm really tempted to try to fit a smaller air conditioning unit inside that area. We have to replace the old hydraulic fan control unit and pump with a clutch fan one, so we have a bell what do you call it, idler right here, and that will give me a tighter wrap on the crank. And then we can go back to the appropriate wrap. This is not the appropriate wrap. It's actually supposed to go down. No, sorry, it's supposed to go from the crank to this and then around and then onto there, I believe, if memory serves me right. And I may say for this car right here, screw it, we're going to take and put power steering back on because I keep just not having the time to put the electronic power steering in. And honestly, I want to get down to other projects and just drive it. So buying a new power steering pump, put it in there, and just sacrifice the 5 horsepower, whatever it is that consumes up. Because I want to get these things, the 2 cars that you see over here, worked on. So the goal is going to be both of these cars doing a budget build on both of them to be able to get them out of the 14 seconds into the low 13s or maybe into the 11s. But this right here, a lot of people are saying that the Dodge would be less expensive to build than the Caprice. The Caprice, even though shares like it's made in Australia, it shares the LS platform. I know it's the L77, but it's just basically a mixture of LS parts. And the big part with both of them is to get rid of their, they have both different names, the DOD or the basically the displacement on demand. That needs to go away. Old Ford. So we'll put a mild cam in both of them and we'll see how we can get them down the track. 6% says Indy in December. Wrenching with Grandpa says, I'm really disappointed we couldn't do breakfast this morning, but scored some great wheels. Yeah, you showed me those slotted wheels. Yeah, I'm really bummed that this whole week, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if it wasn't for bad luck. I have no luck. Nothing wrong with Aussie cars. They made the monster known as the SS. Yes. Also, like, this whole car right here, most of the parts came from Australia. And heck, even the AN fittings are Aeroflow, which are from Australia. I am a huge fan of the, this thing is not staying where it's supposed to. That's good enough. I'm a huge fan of the automotive industry down in Australia. Like, not the industry, but like the car culture of Australia / New Zealand, like that whole area right there. If you want to know how to take a modern car and have the mentality of the 70s, look no further. Like, they are pushing the limits on the cars down there. Speaking of pushing the limits, I am just like over the moon. I'm a big fan of Le Mans, and the 24-hour Le Mans is an awesome endurance race. One of my favorite movies is Ford versus Ferrari, and it's just this year. And unfortunately, they had some mechanical issues, but the fact that NASCAR put in a hyper modified 720, I think 720 horsepower NASCAR into, it's like 500 pounds lighter than a standard NASCAR. And other than two mechanical things, which was brakes, and I can't remember the other, they were doing so good. Like, so well, sorry. They were doing so well. And they were showing the Europeans that we can go right and left, which is hilarious. William says your daughter ain't worried about displacement on demand. Her caddy runs on all four at all, or all the time. Absolutely, positively, Lily. I've been so busy that has not left the storage garage that it's in. It's the only car that I do store because it's just I can't not store it during the winter. And yeah, that hasn't moved. I meant to actually. I'll probably move it this week if I can. Let's see. I need to move the satellite, and then I might put it where the satellite is. I know Samantha would be very happy that it's home. So I have to go through all the. I haven't. We're almost halfway through the summer. Nah, we're in the beginning of summer. I gotta go to a couple car shows. I want to do the whole putting a camera underneath the hood, so when people look underneath here expecting the straight six, they're like, "What the heck?" I've had people ask weird questions, like, I I don't know. I've had people ask me if it's. One person asked if it was an LS, which is like, no. I had one person ask if it was a Hemi. The spark plugs are in the center of the head. So I had someone ask me if it was a Coyote. I'm like, I think it has to be like half the size of a Coyote. I mean, let's see. There's a huge crowd of, where'd it go? Valiant Slant 6 fans in Australia. Yeah. Oh, so we have someone here. Yeah, we'll have a conversation, Cardone. Absolutely. I'm pretty disappointed. I can actually show you the issue we had in. So, but yeah, my favorite engine from Australia right now, and I can't remember the name of it, is the it's the straight six, the Ford straight six. Let's see. Yeah, so hold on a second. Hold on. So yeah, we the Barra 6% is 100% correct. So unfortunately, the only manufacturer I could find these Brembo brakes from is Cardone, and what ended up happening was the pins fell out. Now, last year I didn't have a problem with the driver's side at all. Passenger side, I went through one. I called up Summit Racing where I ordered it from. Unfortunately, one of the pads actually backed itself out because the pins fell out and actually cut my RPF1 rim right almost in half. It was still in one piece, just big enough score in it. And then, well, they were nice enough to just send me a new caliper, well, a new remanufactured caliper. That one did the same thing. Still no problem on the driver's side until this year. And when I was going down to Power Tour, I had no other problems with the Super. We'll even started up a little bit. And I was listening to Creedence Clearwater, and I hear right after the song ended, through about 30 seconds, I hear ping, ting, teling. And I saw this bouncing around behind my car. So I went and I was like, huh, maybe I hit something. And I turned around, went back, and I picked it up, and it looks like an installation error. I have photographs of the inside of that bore. It is so worn out that it isn't even round anymore. Like there's a sizable chunk removed from this. So it looks like insulation, which, I mean, hey, don't worry. I have photos that will go up. I'm pretty disappointed. So if you think it looks like insulation, it looks like someone put a Dremel inside there, let it rot for a couple years, and then put it on a shelf. But yeah, I've done enough breaks in my day. It was an insulation error. Do appreciate the you showing up, guys. In fact, my local store down here, Post and Kill Auto, like every time I call, if I was to say I have something normal, like, are you sick? And they actually dropped Cardone years ago, because they said the quality was, they've had nothing but issues. So yeah, you'll see photos of it up on there. It looks like, actually, you could actually see right here on this side. No, was it this side? Yeah, this side right here. I wasn't actually going to be showing it this during the live here, but there's a huge divot where someone beat the heck out of it with a hammer, and that was before you guys repainted it. And also there's hammer marks on this side. There's hammer marks all over the actual caliper itself. So yeah, you can call it insulation if you want, but you're wrong. I can't believe you guys came on here to actually do that. Let's see. Well, people are going to get scared when they see the 1UZ and start fumbling words. Actually, the funniest thing is when people see the computer sitting on here, we'll go over here so you can see it. So the best part that I've had so far is when people where is it? Sitting on the seat right here. But yeah. Nothing like hearing a V8 come outside. Oh, my wife has looked it up, and that is not actually Cardone's YouTube channel. Thank you for trolling, guys. You had me convinced. Man, disappointing. I think people should report that. But yeah. Oh my God, that thing sounds so awesome. Oh yeah, so that one was created June 11th. Yeah, report him. The actual YouTube channel is Cardone Industries. So yeah, now that you guys spoiled the actual YouTube video where I have beautiful photos, and I was gonna let the world see it then, disappointed. $2:27 a.m. Where are you from? How expensive would it be to have me send you a sticker for being on at almost 3 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, hammer time. Boom! Report him for being a troll. I was convinced. I am so disappointed. I thought they had saw the video. You hurt my feelings. Oh, man. Let's see. Yeah. I got to give him credit for being inventive. So, yeah. I even got a spare key made up, and just in case I lost this, I did put it in the trunk of the car inside one of the piece of luggage. So the only way for me to currently open the trunk is with the key. So retrospectively thinking, that would have been a fun thing to dig out. I mean, obviously it's a hatchback. It would have been fun. I still have all the parts in there. I was still hoping that something would have come through last night, but I have all the parts and pieces. I even had a spare differential. I fully expected to break the 430 rear diff on this trip. I put brand new rear tires on it a couple days ago. Same things, the RAARs, because they do a really good job at sticking. I did remove the line lock because we had issues with the line lock last year. So I removed that and I went back to the factory hard lines for the non-ABS car. in the hopes that, you know, just reliability. I went through to try to make this as reliable as possible. But yeah, next year, that car there. I don't know, maybe I can't convince my good buddy down in North Carolina to drive that car, and I drive this car, and we can I keep calling it carpooling, but drive together at the same time. The only thing about him pretending he was Cardone is not have brake fluid on my hands. That's like the worst feeling fluid inside of a car. The worst smelling being the differential, as long as it's posi traction. I can't stand that smell. But yeah. So as far as it goes, though, like, don't get me wrong, I really like the interior of this car, but I mean, talk about it's still Spartan. Oh, he said maybe. I'm holding that as a yes. You can ask my wife. If he says maybe about something, that means we're gonna, you know, that's a yes. We're going on a road trip. We're gonna not break anything, and you're gonna be driving this thing. Either with I know I said turbo, but I'm thinking we go budget versus not budget and put a supercharger in this, because superchargers are awesome. So it'd be the supercharger gang, you know? So, oh, we're breaking something. Breaking tires, baby. And hearts. Because they're going to see this duo and they're going to be like, where do I get those cars? Wrenching with okay, so here's something fun. I did not have any plan for adverse weather, unfortunately. The only tires I actually had in the intention of bringing one of the old tires in case I got a hole in it. I can't fit any, I don't even have a spare. Nothing in this car. So if it rained, you're going to rely on this joke of a, hey, let's push the water away, which may I point out, and they actually know this is a problem. They're not symmetrical, or they're asymmetrical. I don't know. They're the same tire no matter what orientation it is. So one of the tires is going to push the water off, and the other one's going to take it and put it on top of the tire. So you're going to hydroplane with one tire and not the other. They're basically just to pass DOT requirements. So yeah, if we had rain, it was going to be drive slow. But that's the only option we have. Oh, so he said, yeah, we're breaking something. Between our luck, our road trips, it's a given. So I don't know if he wants me to say his actual name, but so I was talking to him before the trip. I said it's almost easier mentally to go on a 2,300 mile road trip if you fly somewhere, get in the car, and have to drive it home, because you have no option. There's like the Buick. There was no failure. There had to be, it had to be done, right? So when you leave here, you're like, oh, there's a lot of things going on in your side of your head. And the worst part for me was we were about an hour before anything happened. And so it was a while. I had been driving for a while, and I was like, oh yeah, I feel good now. Like, you know, I drove it from here to Hemmings, which is about 45 minutes, and we went underneath the car. We checked everything out with my buddy Junior over there, and he's the one who fabricated the hookups right here. He did the phenomenal welding. Like, his official title's mechanic, but I'll be honest with you, and he's a very humble person, but he is a builder. So when he made a comment that this looked like it was meant to be, like it was put together almost like Toyota would have, except for, you know, the AN fittings on it. But he was he had high praise, and I was so like blown away. I was really, really happy about that, because again, I've seen his work, right? He's not just a mechanic, he is a legitimate builder. Also, he makes my welds look like I'm a toddler. Like, he's awesome. So we went through the car and everything was fine. So going through there, the temperature was nominal. It was like 178 degrees. And the big issue came down to being like, I don't know, everything was right. I was going to start to do some requiring or data logging so we can leaned it out a little, because it comes up saying that the lambda value is 1, which is, if you go to American metrics, it's 14. So it's the air fuel ratio is correct. But it smells like it's running rich. And when you really go into it, when you're not like open throttle, like it's doing some correction. It's like 20% off. So I have a feeling it's because we went from having the OEM fuel pressure regulator to an actual fuel pressure regulator right here. And also, this was, so I was on the road trip last year with Dylan and Mopar Fury, and we were going from Warwick, Rhode Island to Fargo, and Dylan was having issues with the fuel being too hot, and so he came up with a solution, which he used a power steering cooler to cool the fuel before it went to the carburetor. Now, our fuel was running at 178 degrees, so nearly 200 degrees at the end of a drag race. And down inside here is a fuel cooler. Also, they didn't sponsor me there. Yes. And so when Dylan hopped on the plane and he was flying back, it was left to him and myself and Mopar Fury to trailer the 63 cattle, or the 69 Chevelle from Warwick, Fargo, back to Hemmings. And we had been talking about it, and he was looking up stuff, and he found a lot of concepts. So after that, one of the goals for this car was to install that. So it has, coming from the fuel tank, 3/8 line, hard line. Well, no, it's AN hard line out, AN fitting to a hard line, which the hard line ends right here. And then there's a fuel filter, getting rid of the old fuel filter, which, Toyota, what were you thinking, putting a fuel filter above the rear subframe? You can't even reach it. You got to take the fuel tank out to get to it. It's like the stupidest concept. Like, why? Anyways, it's here now, and it's a Aeroflow one where you can take it apart. It's got a little thing you can clean everything. Super nice. And then it goes from there to the chiller, which is, it runs off of the relay switch that powers the fan on the radiator here. Who was I talking to the other day? Oh, it was Junior. He had on a car he went to go look at to buy or something. I can't remember. They had the transmission switch, temperature switch, running the fan for the radiator. So when the transmission got hot, the radiator fan would kick on instead of the fan running when it's supposed to, which is like the stupidest thing ever. We didn't do that. We have the heating fuel system cooler running at the same time as this fan. And our intercooler is behind it. So we also get to pull some more air. So it's the intercooler on the other side. So intercooler, fuel cooler, radiator. So the intercooler gets the coldest of the air. So, and oh my God, it's so nice having time to put the intercooler back in and make it work, because now our charged air went from being like 220 degrees to 87 degrees. Think about that for a second. That's a huge difference. Like, and we did lose a little bit of PSI. So, but the air is significantly more condensed too. So I think we lost about a pound and a half. Yeah, it was pretty funny. So huge shout out to Dylan McCool to actually inspiring me to do that in this car. It's just not a side of the road repair. And to this day, I'm still really impressed that he even thought about it. So also, pro tip, you get to meet a lot of people doing this. And if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, I highly recommend it. It's very rewarding. I have a lot of fun doing it. But I've been blessed to be able to meet a lot of people. In fact, I met Joshua from, he's in New Hampshire. Yeah, I think he's up in New Hampshire, from Vague Industry. And I've met Nick's Garage. There's a lot of awesome people. A lot of them are exactly who you think they are. Like, they're like down to earth, super nice people. And Dylan McCool, like, that is not a character. He is exactly how you would imagine him. And he's very smart too. Like, I couldn't believe that he thought that up. Let's see. I was really hoping to see him this week too, but yeah. Oh, so I was gonna do a little thing every single day on how to survive a long road trip on a budget. So I had bought for $125, $130. I bought a whole box, 12 MREs, and they're Morningstar or Star. Sorry, they're Star MREs. Highly recommend them. They're pretty good. And I was going to show you guys how you can survive and make an MRE last throughout the day. It's, you know, it's almost 2,000 calories. It's all you really need. Add a breakfast and a couple snacks because, well, I'm not a skinny guy and I like food. So, anyways, if you guys want to see how I was planning on doing that, I can do a video just about the MRE experience and how you eat coffee. You don't drink the coffee it comes with, you eat it. And I'll show you the trick on how to do that. If you want me to do that, I think it would be kind of fun. Back to wheel restoration. Hang tight, my buddies. See you sometime soon. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing how those slotted wheels come out. Which I really like the slotted wheels. I have one that still have the one that came off of the satellite when I bought it. It's rotted out. It's just really cool. It's not rotted because of what do you call it? It's not rotted because of rust, because it's aluminum. It's rotted because, for some reason, any piece of aluminum that actually touched the soil where that car was, it actually ate the aluminum. Like, the transmission was shot. The whole bottom of the bell was rotted right off. Which I've never seen that before. So there must be a high iron content in the soil or something. So you have the dissimilar metals. You get the volcanic corrosion. Never seen that in the wild like that, though. So it's not the trick on how you eat the coffee. So the coffee that comes in and this is a trick I learned from my dad, who actually served, and he's a pretty badass guy. So what you do is he would actually save the coffee packets while on base and put it in his, on his person when he was just sent out to the field. And you actually open it up, right? And you put your sugar and the creamer packet all into one thing, and you shake it up so it mixes, and you just take it, and then you just take a swig of water. So that's how you eat coffee. That's how you get rid of. It's not very good coffee. It's very good if you do that. If you put it in something and actually drink it, not so good. Wood and Metal Garage. How are you doing, bud? If you haven't already checked out his channel, make sure you do that. It's been a while. Cheers. Yeah, I've just been so busy that I don't know. Today was I didn't wrench on a car. I didn't do anything other than I made my wife a flower garden, which has flowers in it. Stephanie, I can't remember. There's sunflowers, there's lavender, there's something with an M, and irises. Anyways, let's see. Stephanie says it's good if you put the coffee in other coffee. That is true. She is correct on that. So if you ever want to try MRE coffee, the proper way to do it, there's two ways. Just gone. Or you mix it in with other coffee, and then it becomes slightly more not watery coffee. I bet you if you were to mix in a small amount and like have like a, what do you call it? Like a fancy thing that like from Italy. I don't know. Like espresso, a shot of espresso. You make it real small. You sip on it for a while and be pretentious. I'm sure it would be pretty good that way. Irises, marigolds, lavender, and sunflowers. Yeah, that's what's there. That's what's going there. What's either there. The irises are in there already. Tomorrow the other ones go in. So, yeah. Other than that, guys, yeah, so for you guys that weren't here earlier on, The salvaging this week is going to be, I got to get the video out from the attempt. And you can definitely see my soul leave my body, unfortunately, when I had the realization. But yeah, the salvaging is going to be probably dealing with getting the Dodge to run as fast as that car. Mind you, this car is going to stay as it is internally. This one's going to lose a lot of things because it's not in as good a shape at all. Great little car. I do really like it. It is the Trash Panda, and it is hilarious. I didn't call it Trash Panda. The previous owner called it the Trash Panda, and I was like, yes, that's sticking. And it says it right there. But there's like water stains and stuff on the headliner, so I'm gonna pull the headliner out. I'm gonna pull the rubber mat out and check underneath it because it's this one right here is like my buddy who drove this car, right? He was the one that drove it on the one video down the track versus this car, and he drove this one too off camera, and he goes, "This was a detective car," and I'm like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" And he was just like, "This thing's immaculate." So this thing right here is in really, really good shape. And that one is not. Also, a big difference, this has over 100,000 more miles on it than this one. God knows how many more idle hours on it. So that one was very abused. So yeah, we're going to try to get this car to run as fast as this car before doing any modifications to the engine. After we get close to that, the next step will be, I'm thinking budget slash not so budget on this one, and convincing my buddy to drive this one on Power Tour next year, and I'll drive this thing on Power Tour, and then we will probably have co-drivers or just have walkie-talkies. Oh yes, there you go. Mopar Fury, what do you think about CB radios? We'll have to get handles. I will be, I'm going to call myself the Garden Outlaw because that's what you said, Garden Channel. The Garden Outlaw. I'll have to come up with a good nickname for you. And we could walkie-talkie. That would be fun. It'd be like the 90s TV shows where you had kids talk to each other through the little piece of metal can with the rope to each other's house. Yeah. Everyone on there would be like, shut up, get off. So yeah. After we do that, I'm thinking exhaust, see if we can't make these things not quiet, because it's really weird. Junior, when this thing went down the track the first time he was there, he goes, dude, it's super weird. Just the thing's going. It's just, you can't hear it on the track. It's just drowned out by everything else. So both these need exhaust, so they don't sound like EV cars. Also, they both have great sounding engines. And we gotta emphasize that this needs exhaust still. It's still running the exhaust that was put on it initially, and yeah, the big issue with that is the passenger side is leaner than the driver. No, the passenger side's richer than the driver's side because they're not evenly getting out. So there's like the only thing I paid anyone to do, and it needs to be remedied. So we got to get this thing tuned correctly, and the big part is going to be probably either my buddy Jeremy's they're both really busy people, so I don't know. We'll see. Either Jeremy or Glenn is going to do the exhaust on it. So I'm curious to see how whoever does it, how they do it. But yeah, they're pretty straightforward exhausts. You can get this one. Mopar Fury actually has this is his old car. He's got another one that's silver, and he did the exhaust on that one, and it sounds freaking awesome. So when it comes time, we're going to get one of those exact same exhausts and put it on here. And then on this one right here, I'm going to look for a budget option. I don't want to just make my own on it, but if it comes down to it, we can. The only problem is most of cheap exhausts don't last up here at all. So I don't know. Got to figure that out. And then the next step after that will be getting rid of the variable displacement. And then I haven't decided if we're going to go the full route on this one. There's a few things you can do. We can try to get these things going faster, naturally aspirated first, and then jumping up to putting some additives to it. I believe we can easily get away with a turbo on this one and a supercharger on this one. The cool thing about these guys, as opposed to this car here, is we can flash and retune the existing ECU. Where this thing was OBD1, and that's a joke. It's not even capable of even looking. You had to fool this thing. Like the way I got them to go fast back in the day is you could get an AEM ECU, and the problem with those is they worked really well when they worked, but they didn't work very well when they didn't work, which was most of the time. Or you can get a Mega Squirt, and then you had to make it yourself. And that was a nightmare. I knew a bunch of people that did that. It was terrible. So the other option is you can also trick them. So it would be like taking the mass airflow sensor off of a IS300 or SC400 and putting the Scorpion 550cc injectors in it. And then you had to take a nail and go to where the boost controller was, and you put the nail in there, and depending on how, so you had to sit there and you had to fool the horrible computer to do what you wanted it to do. And next thing you know, you went from having 8 pounds of boost to 14 pounds of boost, and you can get the Garrett front half of the turbo so that you run the back, but the compressor unit itself is a Garrett. So this, back in the day, trying to get these things to go fast was a nightmare. Now this thing has a Haltech ECU, and I just plug it in, and I tell it what to do. And that's really cool. And it works all the time. And that's something that we didn't have in the early to mid / late 2000s. I almost said 1800s. I'm not that old. Or am I? So yeah, so look forward to these guys coming back very soon. And if I can get the Supra down to a dyno this week, which is, there's like 2 of them, so there's a chance. There's a chance, but not a good chance. They're normally like months out before you can even get a car on the dyno. But yeah. Oh yeah, Wooden Metal Garage tech got way better. It's funny looking at the interface from the what is it? The Holly. It's the little Holly, not Holly. Yeah, the Holly thing. The interface that they have compared to the interface that this thing has, which is an actual laptop. And I was watching Randy over at Auto Auction Rebuilds with his 40s car there, trying to get the LS swap and controlling the fuel and everything. And it's like an old, it almost reminds me of like trying to deal with a Mega Squirt. Obviously that was still a computer, but like how rudimentary it is. Whereas you get full tables and everything with this. Actually, I can show you what it looks like. Again, because we switched the way that the fuel is delivered, don't rely on the fuel map. It's totally butchered now. But I'm probably going to lose you guys. If this thing starts to get a little sloppy and let me know and I'll leave. But turn you guys around. Wakey, wakey. Eggs and bakey. Oh, did it turn all the way off? Here we are. So you read from all the devices. And we do have one fault, which is I have a bad connection to my thermostat, and that's actually in the plug on the engine. So that happened a few days ago, and I had it working again for the road trip, and now today it's not. So it's just, I got to figure that one out. I think I have to take it back off and recrimp it. Not a big deal. But we start this up. You can see our RPMs. You can see our fuel price. I lost you guys. I don't know if I'm back, but we are nearing the hour mark, and I am going to go inside because the bugs are coming out, and I don't like being eaten by the bugs. Also, I still have brake fluid on my hands. It's my least favorite fluid. So, ethanol, 95, 93. 93 that might be my least favorite, actually. Anyways, I digress. It is time for me to hop off and go get more water. So, until next time, we'll try to do this more regularly again. Things catch up, and until then, keep your shiny side up. Thank you for all joining me. God bless.